What's going on, guys? Balkan Architect here, and the topic of today's video is hsbStickFrame for Revit by hsbCAD. Now, if you've been following my videos closely, last year I had a few kind of quick tutorials on the topic of hsbStickFrame for Revit by hsbCAD. Now, this is a tool set that allows you to automate and speed up the process of creating kind of framed structures inside of Revit. Now, when I released those videos, there was a lot of interest, so that's why we decided to create an entire tutorial kind of showcasing what the workflow would be when it comes to using this tool set. Now, this is also a really good time for this video because they are releasing a new update on the 22nd of February, so that's really soon. In this video, we're just going to be going over some of those new features from the updated version, as well as some of the features from the kind of initial release. So that's going to be the topic of today's video. And I would like to encourage you to stick till the end of this video because there will be an opportunity for you to get an exclusive free 30-day trial of the all new hsbStickFrame for Revit by hsbCAD. Also, full disclosure, this video is sponsored by hsbCAD, so just keep that in mind, and then this video will just be kind of a quick overview of the workflow and a tutorial of some of these important features. So, without any further ado, let's get started. And here we are in Revit. So we're going to be framing some specific walls together with the connection and some specific tools that we can launch to wall framing styles. What we're going to be doing first is selecting the framing styles editor. In the framing styles editor, you're capable of creating your own wall build-ups, your floors, and your roofs together with all of these edge details. So in framing style editor, you can define edge details, corner and T-junctions, and opening details. We can create our own wall styles right here by manipulating the entire buildup of this wall. We can do that, for example, in these zones up here. So what we can do right here is seeing a direct result of what you will get if you claim this specific wall. So for example, what we can do is turn off the entire zones and just turn on the first zone. So on zone 1, we're going to manipulate this zone and we're going to change the alignment to horizontal. What you will see is that the edge up here has no beam behind it. So what we can do is say specifically that there is a beam behind the sheet split. So go into the support. There we go. We have our support. Also, what we can do is go to a staggered sheeting. I turn this one off, and then there is another way of doing it by saying to my first zone, the sheet will rely on the studs that are placed in zone 0. And then you will see that the first sheet, as well as the second one, will be a little bit smaller custom sheet. It's having its edge right on a beam from zone 0. So by turning this one off and changing it back, my vertical alignment, it defaults back to the state before I modified anything. We can make our own edge details. I'm going to click on Add Detail, give a specific name, and what you're going to do is you are going to add a beam as aka a beam. We can say to this beam, create a smart parametric detail with options to show or not to show a beam, for example. So what I can do is add an extra parameter, say yes, no parameter, and say single. So how does it work? I can build up two different configurations. One is a single bottom plate and a double bottom plate. Go to parameter and say it should be a single beam. Now I'm going to go back right here. You can see that I have a single beam and a double beam. If I'm selecting single beam and check this one, you will see that my bottom plate has a single or double. Now, if we were going to do this for connections, it has a sort of a same way around. So for example, I'm going to my T connection. I'm going from a drop menu, for example, for a T connection between two exterior walls, go to add a new one and say this is my T connection alternative. Now what I can do is say, for example, I'm going to select this one, move a little bit down, and then I want to anchor the sheet to the position where my first beam is. Now, what I want to do is I want to have a spacing or an offset between the end of this wall and starting position with this wall. So what I will do, I'm going to create an offset line. So when the sheet is there, just place it right there. Doesn't matter how far it goes. I'm going to add a new parameter, say a number 1, just say offset connection wall. You will see that the distance has been changed. Grab that one, anchor it, and now it's connected. So I'm going to change my offset connection wall. Let's say it's 50. I will assign to change this one back to 0. It will be touching my wall. So for example, if I'm being right here, I have a parameter as well as a forming yes/no parameter as well as available here. So if you want by default want to have a 10mm gap between these walls, there we go. We always have a 10mm gap, and in this list you can choose which kind of walls are connecting with each other when this T connection should be happening up here. So I have a choice on what kind of default connection there will be represented when it comes to these walls meeting each other. Going to our last tab up here, we can create our own openings. Now you can see by default there is already a setup here, a specific opening with a header and double studs on the side. Also, what I can do is add a new opening style and say this one will be my default window style. Then you'll see it has just one single beam around. But the same way as for the edge details, I can create very easily by selecting the edge, add a new detail and say this is my side, double click up here, add a new beam, and that's it. Go back and double beam up for the other side as well, just by clicking up here, my double beam up here. Now I'm going back to my model. I'm going to press OK in the framing styles editor, and now what I will do, I want to specifically frame those walls. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn off my second level so I can have a better overview of my walls up here. As you can see, as I present one, there are already some item containers everywhere, and then there are framed walls that are already inside the model. But what I will do, I want to specifically frame this one, that one, this, that, and that wall. So what I will do, I will go to the select this button item container, select this wall, that one, that one, that one, that, and that one. I'm going to place the container. Actually, we could have already framed them so that it gives a good result going to look right here from the second container. I just placed, or I can make a crossing around the entire project. That will open new dialog screen up here, which is giving me the time and the information of maybe what I want, where it's in the warnings or of errors, or it will give me the percentage of how far my entire project is. As you can see up here, it gives me a good preview over the level of frame, but what I want, what I've been forgotten is the one extra wall. Select it again, so this wall will be framed as well. There we go. Now what we can do is play with the connections, because if we look at the top view, you can see that these walls are cranked. But what I want to do, I want to see what kind of connection chosen up here. So what I can do is click on the container in that container, and that's analyzing my connection between the internal wall and the external wall. There we go. There is a connection that has been chosen. If I want to have a different connection up here, I can make a selection and go to the drop down and choose any other connection that I want that has been created by yourself in your own framing styles editor. It can be interesting that I'm going to change this specific wall. For example, if I'm going to look at this wall, you will see that there is a window. What I want to do, I want to change the specific the spacing of what has been created here. So first of all, I'm going to I'm going to turn off my wall, and I'm going to select my item container and go to my detail modifier, select this one, go to my zones. It gives me a preview directly of what I have in the model. What I will do up here, I'm going to change the space from 400 to 600. And there we go. There's our result. You can see that there is no beam behind this sheet. So what we did before was adding this feature. Say, okay, I'm going to select the item container again and say generate it. It will update my panel up here. It can be interesting if I'm going to turn off these zones up here. So I'm going to my console again. I'm going to turn off my first two zones so I can watch inside the wall. There we go. Our spacing has now been changed. Now what we're going to do, I want to have a pocket right here and right here for these two walls. So what I can do, I'm going to use the Pocket HSB Flex tool. I'm going to select this pocket. I will ask you select my container, press this and press enter, select your beam and say finish. That will open my parameter dialog where I can do all my setups, so I can choose some specific inventory items if I want to. For example, I want to split my top plate and the number of supporting beams. So let's turn this one into 4 and press OK. What I will immediately do, I'm going to update this small wall up here. So press generate. You will see my top plate has been splitted as well as over here. Then I'm going to view exterior 46. Then I'm going to turn off my zone 1 and zone 2. There we go. We have our extra beam below. Once you change that, let me say from 4 to, for example, 5, from the select tool up here, change it to 5 and frame my wall. There's our result. Now we have 5. What also we will need to do, for example, is to make a point load somewhere. So let's go to the top view again, better overview of what happens. So let's go to ext47. What we're going to do is go to the point load. You can choose your inventory support again, choose how many support beam you want to have. Let's say I want to have 5 in this case, and then just press OK. And now where do you want to have it? So right there, representing 2 again. So if I want to change my amount of supportive studs, I can do right here, but what I was going to do, select generate, and there we go. Looking up in the 3D here are the point loads. Another really useful feature is our structural blocking tool. So select structural blocking, put in the elevation height, click OK, set up a container, select finish, and there we go. Once placed on another height, say from 1500 to 1600, There we go. Now, a good thing is that our containers have a memory. What this actually means is that if we go into console here and turn on my zone again, and let's say I'm going to make this sheet here just a little bit smaller right there. All right. Now that you could do it, let's say I'm going to turn it off again. And now let's say I'm just going to copy this beam right here. See, the structure blocking needs to have an update. So what I'm going to do is update the panel, so you will see that the structural blocking is making this structural blocking here a bit smaller. But also the manual change that we have done for this specific item container is still here. So now what we're going to do, we're going to check if our items are numbered correctly. So what I will do, I'm going to a new ribbon named hsbOutput. This is an entire list of all kinds of machine tools that we can provide you, but also a validation manager. So what we can do is, for example, we are going to renumber all of the beams and sheets in the model. So how to do, so just click on create pose nums. So I want to assign all kinds of position numbers to my items in Revit. Click on it, cross selection, say finish. Now going to number all of the items. And there we go. So now if I'm going to select one of my top plates, for example, you can see that there has an individual position number. But what we can do is, for example, say that I'm going to manipulate this beam a little so it has no position number anymore. That one it has. So what we're going to do, we're going to create a new validation for that. So as soon as your project has been finished, you can check if the entire project has been numbered correctly on all the correct position numbers. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on the validation manager. I'm going to add a new group. This group can be named anything, let's say default validations. I can add a new validation by saying I want to check if all my beams are numbered correctly right here, right there. That's the only thing I need to press. Okay, so go to my inspector, and that's the name of one of the groups we just upgraded. I'm going to press OK. Make a check of the entire project, press finish, and that will come up with a result of the checked model. So it's going to check if every beam has gotten numbered correctly. We can know that one beam is not numbered correctly, and there we go. So up here we can see that some items are not numbered correctly, but what I can also see up here, if I'm going to check on this button, it will highlight the beam that has not been numbered. Or if I'm going to the sheeting has not been numbered, and for that reason I know that a few sheets were turned off, so I know that those sheets were not being numbered correctly. So what I need to do, I need to turn off this message here. Enter your number again, and I'm going to do that. And so if I will check it again, we'll come up with good results. So now what we can do is to go to our shop drawings, and in our shop drawings, let's say we're going to create shop drawings. It's a shop drawing that has already been imported. Press OK, and I'm going to choose that container and select Finish. There we go into our project browser. You can see we have 47 and 46 right here. Click on this to see what schedules, but also right here 46 and 47 as you see up here. Now going back to the 3D model, we can also launch our exporter. So if I'm going to run our exporter, we can choose specific item containers. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make a selection of the entire project and send it to our exporter. What our exporter can do is to export give us a total view of all of the beams you need to cut or create a BVX or ROB files or all kinds of exports that are available in the hsb exporter. This is our exporter. So what we can do, for example, for exporter is, let's say we're going to run this specific export up here. We're going to create a PDF file. We put up the view, and there we go. This is the entire list of all the beams that you need to cut. Another example is to view report, to view all the material that you need to gather together to correct these elements. And for the last, you can go into creating a BVX file. And there we go. And that's pretty much it for this video. Now, I hope you have enjoyed it, and as I promised in the beginning, now you're going to have an opportunity to get an exclusive free 30-day trial to the kind of new updated release of hsbStickFrame on hsbDesign24. Now, what you need to do is you just need to follow the first link in the description of this video, and you can sign up there. Now, you have to use a coupon code. So use my coupon code, which is hsbCAD-BalkanArchitect, and this will allow you to get an exclusive 30-day trial, which is really cool. Now make sure to be quick about it, because there is only 150 signups available with this coupon code, so make sure to do it immediately as soon as you're done watching this video. And then as soon as you sign up on the 22nd, when the new release or the new updated hsbStickFrame on hsbDesign24 is released, you can immediately get access and try it out for yourself. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you soon with another Balkan Architect tutorial. Have a nice day.